After so much time, we're here. Welcome everybody to Pokémon Champions, and today I am proud to show you guys the team I made for the first couple of days of the new regulation in Pokémon VGC. And as you guys probably know by now, it's a Mawile team. Oh, there we go. This is the team I came up with. Thanks to a bit of luck and a couple of trades, I managed to get all the Pokemon I needed. But I will add some extras. I will talk about some extras in the future, but first, a couple of premises. The first one is we're barely in the first week of this new regulation and many things may change. Since many things may change, we will need to update and adapt this team for the future format, for the future of this format. This is why live on Twitch, starting next week, we will rank up on the ladder with this team, and as the meta shift, we are going to build this new team together around Mawile, of course alongside many other games, but Pokémon Champions will now be a very important part of the program, and we will adapt Mawile depending on the meta, and will result in more team report videos like this one. So if you wanna stay updated, you can subscribe to this channel and follow the site, the streaming site linked in the description. This is the team, and I wanna go over it very quickly before sharing the replica code. So, the start of the show, Mawile. Now, for now, I don't feel like giving a precise spread to this Pokemon, because, as I said, we're very early, and any spread updates we are going to need will come as they are needed in the future. So, 32 HP, 32 attack, brave nature, and then the rest on the special defense. Now, many people sleep on Mawile mostly because of how strong Charizard is. But as you will probably see ahead in this team, that is not really an issue. It's so much a non-issue right now, Charizard, that I'm not even running a rock type move on Mawile. I'm running double stab, Iron Head, Play Rough, Protect, and Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch is very important because if Trick Room ends and you still need your Mawile to attack before the opponents, Sucker Punch will do a surprising amount of damage, and is also a good way to deal with Pokemon such like Metagross, which usually takes around 70 to 80% in damage, depending on the spreads of the opposing Metagross. Therefore, it's a good way to also kinda match up against Metagross, which is probably going to be one of the most popular Mega Evolutions of the format. Not to mention, the other two moves are so powerful, even neutral attacks are result often in a one-hit KO. This Pokemon is able to one-shot a lot of Incineroars after those Incineroars already took some damage. It's able to one-shot many threats such as the, at this point, very common Mega Staraptor. Pelipper is a non-issue, Mega Swampert is a non-issue. Even Grimmsnarl behind the screens with one Iron Head tends to succumb. Now it depends on, again, the spread of that Grimmsnarl. I expect Grimmsnarl to become more physically defensive as the time comes, mostly to match up better against Metagross. But yeah, up until now, this spread is so good. Okay, it will one-shot everything, and if it doesn't one-shot, you can be dark sure it will go down after one Sucker Punch, or the least powerful of the moves present in this team. So, as you can see here, Brave Nature, of course, because it's a Trick Room Pokemon. I know that there's some people not running Mawile in Trick Room, I don't know why, but they do. And the ability is Hypercutter. The reason why I gave it Hypercutter, it's because I don't wanna lose from the many Intimidates that, despite everything, are still around the meta. Incineroar is still a very good Pokemon. Mega Scrafty as Intimidate upon Intimidate, and Staraptor before Mega Evolving as Intimidate tendentially. So it's kinda needed for you to delay the Mega Evolution in front of these Intimidate users, although most of the times you deal with those Intimidate users in alternative ways before sending in Mawile, or they lose Intimidate if they Mega Evolve in the case of Staraptor. So it's an extra way, it's a way to be extra careful. It's imperative to preserve fully the power of the ability, huge power you obtain after the Mega Evolution, so you don't start already nerfed, even if the opposing Pokemon need 2 Intimidates to fully shut down huge power. While you're listening, you're probably seeing some footage about a couple of matches I did, so you can see directly the damage of this team, and especially from Mawile. Now, let's go over the other Pokemon. Politoed. This Politoed is incredible. This Politoed resisted hits. I didn't even think it could, but it did. It's amazing. Like, and this basically the reason why I'm opting for Politoed over Pelipper. The 4-time weakness to electric that Pelipper has, it's probably its worst weakness. It can only work basically when Swampert is there, because at that point you can just protect it, and Swampert will just deal with the electric type user on its own with Earthquake or in any other way. They gave it Wave Crush, which is very good, so yeah. But for now, I opted for Politoed. It's much bulkier and has a lot more utility. As you can see, the spread is the one you can see. I still invested a bit on the offense for this Pokemon, because that Weather Ball can come in clutch multiple times, taking out key threats for your Mawile. One above all, those pesky Incineroars that do like to run around and intimidate everything, parting shot everywhere, and so on and so on and so on. So, Weather Ball, actually a very good move. It also deals very good neutral damage to a wide amount of Pokemon, so it's a very good move. Encore, as you can see, this Politoed is very slow, so it's also a Trick Room abuser. This Encore can come very helpful when trying to stop a certain Pokemon from doing some sort of disruption. Even just Encore locking on Protect can be a huge deal, because at that point it's all the focus on the partner of the Pokemon you are Encore locking. And even then, it's very rare that the Encore the Pokemon on Protect will get a double, or worse of all, a triple Protect. Is very unlikely. So at that point you can kinda play with percentages and focus the Encore the partner, and then if they also protected the partner, you Encore the other Pokemon. It's very good, okay, it's very good. I still gave it Icy Wind because, as you can see, despite everything, Mawile is not the only Mega Evolution present in this team, but we're gonna talk about it in a second. Ability, of course, Drizzle, because we need the train to lower the power of Fire-type moves for our Mawile, and it's also very useful to remove certain stuff other weather can do, like Aurora Veil, or the Sand Boost for Excadrill or for Rock types is very good, both defensively and offensively for the Weather Ball. So overall, yeah, I really like Politoed in this team. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Choice Scarf Staraptor. Well, if you're looking at the set of this Pokemon, you can already see where I'm going with this. Max Speed, Max HP, Final Gambit. This Pokemon is basically your check for Mega Staraptor, for Mega Charizard, for Mega Swampert, which you tend to outspeed under rain. It happened a couple of times that this Staraptor did outspeed with the Choice Scarf a Swampert under the rain. I'm unsure why that happened, but yeah, it outsped, it take out the Swampert, basically taking out the ground type weakness for Mawile. It's a very good Pokemon and also offers an extra advantage. The lead with Staraptor is usually with the Farigiraf, which I will highlight as we're talking. Farigiraf will block fake outs, Farigiraf will block any priority, even like Anchor from Whimsicott, Fake Tears or whatever. It will block, of course, Fake Out, the very common Fake Out you have with Incineroar, with Raichu, with Sneasler. So basically, once you lead with Staraptor and Farigiraf, not only you basically guaranteed Trick Room in a certain way, the only way to stop your Trick Room will be if in ladder best of 1 close the team list, the opposing Pokemon has a surprise taunt, okay? But this team is also basically made to work in open team list, because against Final Gambit, Trick Room, what can you do? Very few things. You can only just double protect, and at that point nothing really changes, because next turn you are still taking some damage from Final Gambit, you are still taking some damage from this Farigiraf, and I'm still getting the free switch in for Mawile, which is another massive reason to why Final Gambit is there. Final Gambit will offer you a free switch to instantly start abusing the Trick Room with Mawile or Politoed if Politoed is needed more. So the turn basically plays out, Staraptor will take out, say, a Charizard, say the opposing Staraptor, say the opposing Mega Swampert. Thanks to Final Gambit, they will both go down. Meanwhile, Farigiraf will safely set up Trick Room, and then at that point you enter the field with, say, Mawile. It's the most common switch in most of the times, unless you wanna bring Politoed, not Pelipper. And at that point you have full 4 turns of Trick Room for you to use with your sweepers. It's very good to speed up the process of switching in your abuser once the Trick Room is up. And is the version that currently, for how the current format plays, is the way I prefer playing. Because it's time to talk about the alternatives. I did try on Pokémon Showdown this very team with Sinistcha in place of Staraptor. Sinistcha has a lot of advantages. I can see myself putting Sinistcha on one of the members of this team, most likely either Staraptor or Sneasler, in order to have a double Trick Room setup where one of the Trick Room setuppers is also very good for healing back your Mawile. The issue is, if you're not playing Staraptor with Final Gambit, you will need to hard switch most times, or use Volt Switch with your Raichu. And it's a bit messier because they are all very fast Pokemon. You can make an argument for having Incineroar over one of the two, probably Raichu or even Sneasler, to have a much slower switch out. You can make that argument. I would not suggest having it in place of Raichu. And the reason is said in 1 second. Let's finish talk about Farigiraf first. Goldberg Berry to resist better King Gambit, max HP, very high defense, still very high special defense, and minus speed plus defense nature. This is with Armor Tail, of course. This is because you wanna maximize the amount of time Farigiraf is on the field. So, despite the opponent throwing a lot of damage to it, it will take much more time to take down. So you can hopefully maybe switch it back and have another opportunity to set up another Trick Room. Or if Mawile successfully takes out the threats before they heavily damage Farigiraf, Farigiraf will be able to stay on the field and set up another Trick Room later on in the game. Helping Hand to help out with some damage because it may be needed. Trick Room, of course. Protect to keep it extra safe. And then Foul Play. Foul Play is another way to deal with Metagross. Okay, Metagross will take a lot of damage from this Foul Play. And other threats will also take a lot of damage from this Foul Play. So, overall, it's a good move to have on your Farigiraf. Let's talk about Raichu now, and the reasons why I don't feel comfortable right now, at least, switching it out. Raichu is the secondary Mega Evolution of this team. It rarely comes up, okay, but when it does, of course it deals a lot of damage. Fake Out Volt Switch to support and pivot the Fake Out, Grass Knot to deal again with the ground types, and then you have Rising Voltage because this is Mega Raichu X, okay? This is Mega Raichu X, therefore you will have the Electric Surge set up from the ability, meaning Rising Voltage will double the damage. And will actually do a lot of damage even without Mega Evolving for flying types that are not Charizard, say Aerodactyl, okay? Rising Voltage still kinda deals a lot of damage to Aerodactyl even without the Electric Surge boost. The main reason why I don't wanna really take out Raichu is the ability Lightning Rod, which will keep safe all of our Pokémons, especially Staraptor and Politoed, from super effective Zap Cannons, or the other members of the team from very annoying Zap Cannons. At that point you force Mega Raichu Y on Focus Blast, which to this team doesn't do nearly as much damage. And this is why you don't wanna Mega Evolve this Raichu most of the times, like 99% of the times. With all the battles I made with this team, Raichu Mega Evolved once. And I made enough battles to already be at Ultra Ball in less than a day. Thanks to a lot of win streak, you can probably see the picture. I had another 5 win streak that got interrupted by a very unlucky turn of events. A lot of RNG was going crazy. But aside from that, I basically lost twice with this team. Rising Voltage, Fake Out, Volt Switch, Grass Knot. The only thing I could argue to change is the spread of this Raichu. You can make it a bit slower. Okay, so if you match up against a Mega Staraptor, and you didn't bring your Staraptor because maybe the opposing Pokémon had the bright idea to be faster, or worse of all, Sneasler, and you didn't want to activate the White Herb, it will be a split tie between Base Raichu and Mega Staraptor. So under Trick Room it may happen that your Raichu will go down before ever touching that Staraptor. So you can argue making this spread a bit bulkier, perhaps a bit more offensive, but that's something we will see later in the metagame. And last but not least is, of course, our Sneasler. I did put a Sneasler because I do like the option to have something incredibly fast in my Trick Room teams. And the Sneasler is probably the perfect option for two reasons. As you can see, it has both Fake Out and U-Turn. It's another Fake Out with a pivot, which is something you really like in these teams, because turn 1 you may wanna use Volt Switch or U-Turn once you see the lead of the opposing Pokémon. If you see that the lead is not very offensive and your Mawile or your Politoed can enter safely, you can use Volt Switch or U-Turn later on. But also, if you manage to set up Trick Room, both Raichu and Sneasler, being very fast, will switch out later with U-Turn or Volt Switch, meaning that your sweeper for the Trick Room will enter much safer. And even if it goes down, it sucks, yeah, but it's still a free switch in for your Mawile, which at that point is basically free to wreak havoc among the opposing team. So, we talked about all members of the team and all the reasons you may have. Other alternatives other than Sinistcha will be, other than the obvious Incineroar, it will be perhaps Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is back, and with Parting Shot, Double Screen setup, and Spirit Break, or Fall Play itself, you may wanna try it, but it still has the same problem as Sinistcha. Without Final Gambit is not as direct of a free switch, okay? It's much more of a defensive play rather than an offensive play, and in those cases, for Farigiraf, if you're dropping Final Gambit Staraptor, you can switch out Helping Hand for a Psychic type move, especially to hit Staraptor, so you kinda have to switch a couple of moves there, but aside from that, this is the best team I managed to build right now, the one I feel more comfortable with. And I'm mentioning the alternatives, Sinistcha, Grimmsnarl, and so on, because in the future the meta may change, and the perfect adaptation for this team is featuring either Rage Powder Sinistcha that can also heal, or Grimmsnarl with the double screen, and so on and so on and so on. Okay? It's all things we will try to attempt together on live, but up until now this is the best version of this team, the one I feel most comfortable for this specific moment of the meta. Again, as I said, very early, and together on stream we will adapt if needed before ranking up, trying to reach the top. Now, it's time for the replica. This is the replica code I have for this team. You can use it. It's basically the team that I probably was more hyped to build, okay? Mawile is kinda my signature Pokemon at this point, and when I read that Mawile was coming back, I was like, yeah, it's time to start cooking very seriously. These are, again, the spreads, if you wanna watch them a bit more. It's nothing too crazy, it's spreads already known, basically. They're the bulk, basically base bulk, base spreads. They are working perfectly for this moment of the meta. I will put on the screen even this spread I wanna try for Sinistcha. It's this one. Also very bulky, also more towards supporting and staying on the field a lot. The item I feel like we should use on Sinistcha is the Koba Berry for the Brave Bird from Staraptor, because you do wanna Rage Powder away those Brave Birds before hitting with Play Rough the opposing Staraptors. So yeah, it's the only thing I wanna say. A spread for Grimmsnarl would also be a very bulky one, same as a possible Incineroar for the future, but up until now this is the best and most efficient team I managed to build for Mega Mawile. This is it. Let me know in the comments what you think of this team. Let me know in the comments what do you feel about this team. Like, if you try it, let me know if you managed to play it, if you like it. Like, it will make me very proud to have you guys have fun and find yourself comfortable with this team. It will make me extremely satisfied with my experience in VGC. I've played for such a long time. It will be so nice to finally have some people run around with my team. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. Remember, if you wanna stay updated and if you wanna come see me live on Twitch streaming a wide variety of games, ranging from Minecraft, Stardew Valley, or Pokémon Champions itself. Remember, we will adapt this team and also try to reach top 1. You can subscribe and click follow on the first link that will bring you to my Twitch account that you can follow to remain updated with when I go live. So, thank you everybody once again. I really hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a good rest of your day.